Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here with Nicole, the gut girl. Thanks for being here, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so if you guys have questions about anything that we talk about, put them in the comment section. Um, Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in nutrition topics and fitness topics. And Nicole, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to talk about bloating. What causes it? First, can you define or explain bloating?
So that's a great question because so many people come into my office and they're just like, "Yep, I bloat."
Yeah, what is
They're-
it?
yeah. um, it can be so many different things. It is your abdominal wall extending and pushing up on certain parts of the body. So it causes a lot of dysfunction and it causes the stomach to hurt.
Pain.
Yeah, oftentimes lots of pain.
So we were talking before we turned this on, and you talked about there's different types. Um, what do you mean by that? Different causes?
Well, there's different causes, and that leads us to different types of bloat. Bloat can be very high in the stomach, right into the diaphragm, right into right underneath the chest line. And that often means for me, when I do testing, that can be small intestinal bacterial overgrowth when you get it high in the stomach. If you get it right after food, then that can be that you're not digesting your food properly. And it's only a matter of time until that turns into small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or small intestinal fungal overgrowth. I see a ton of that where you have a fungal infection and that's causing bloat.
Hmm.
Um, Low can be in the lower into the large intestines, and that can also be bacterial overgrowth. It's just not small intestine. But what is the bacteria that falls from the small intestine into the large intestine is often going to be an indication of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. You can have slow motility, which is your 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 digestive tract is not digesting food in the proper time frame. So it's getting jammed up in the small intestine and large intestine and causing a very substantial amount of pain.
So why is that happening?
It's lots of reasons. You have a bacterial overgrowth. You have a problem with your the esophagus tract, which that brings to a good point of when you go to a GI doc, they're going to do an endoscopy or they're going to do a colonoscopy oftentimes to figure out why you're having this. When you're doing an endoscopy, that's really to find out if you have an ulcer. That's not to look and see if you have bacterial overgrowth. There has to be specific testings to get that done. A colonoscopy is just really to find out if you have cancerous polyps and can often disturb the bacteria in the bowel to cause more issues.
So what do we do about it?
So you come to someone like me because um, that is not a normal side effect of eating food. We should be able to eat food and it to digest in the system and out through the colon. Your small intestine absorbs your nutrients, your large intestine prepares it for a bowel movement. So if if you're having that, first of all, pay really attention to what kind of bloat you're having. Are you having it high? Is it a painful bloat after eating? Is it a bloat by the end of the day you feel 9 months pregnant? Is it a low bloat where it's, really hurting into your legs? I have some people describe, oh my gosh, my legs hurt so bad from it.
Hmm.
Um, if that's the case, if it feels like nerves, make note of all of that and come to somebody who is in a holistic manner or a functional medicine place so that they can do the outlier test that the doctors won't. A breath test for SIBO, a GI map test that's a stool test for large intestine. Do you have a parasite? And that those kind of things are going to tell that.
So are these all gut problems? Just basically gut problems?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
and you're the gut girl, right?
Good job.
Okay. So, it sounds like, well, we know everyone's different and the solution could be different. It could be you got to change what you're eating potentially, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And you would have an idea, I mean, a guess, even without the test, if they're eating certain things that you would say, okay, I've seen this pattern, so I'm going to have you eliminate these foods, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the times where I start with is we remove fermentable foods because that will off gas and cause a lot of problems in the stomach. And so I start probably with that person that has terrible bloating problems with a low FODMAP diet, which is taking out the fermentable foods
What's a fermentable food?
like kimchi, some legumes will do it.
Legumes?
Like beans, black beans, that kind of stuff will do it and cause a terrible amount of off gassing.
I mean, who just eats kimchi?
You would be surprised. A lot of people do it. And the other thing that I immediately do is normally I take you off your probiotics because that could be lending to the bacterial problem.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean
So
these things are not coming
some
back in.
beans. I mean, it sounds like you need to get more specific with the testing to find out what's doing it.
Oh yeah, and then we narrow this down and I take one piece of it and either kill off what's happening to it and then we rebuild the gut so that you won't have these problems going forward.
Okay, so I know that you will give $100 off anyone who mentions they saw this video um, to your program.
Mhm.
How do they get a hold of you, Nicole? Like, how do they follow you on social media, and how do they just get a hold of you if they want to email you or?
You can email me at the gutgirl1, the number one, at gmail.com, or you can follow me on any social media platforms at the gutgirlnv.
All right. As always, Nicole, thanks for the information. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.